week, you guys. Give everybody a couple minutes. I'll just say some things I don't really think this group needs to hear, but here you go. If you're reading a book on one of these apps and you don't like it, just move on. Like, they're not for everybody, and they don't have to be. But if you're reading something and you don't like it, just move on. There's no need to say anything. Just move on. That's my tidbit. Okay. Whew. This has been a week, you guys. It has been a week. I'm sure you saw I reached a little bit of my limit. Posted a couple times on Facebook. We'll see if that helps. We'll see. Hi, Allison. Hi, Morny. Wow, sorry, Marnie. I don't know what that was. That just happened. Hi, Rebecca. Let's see. Tracy gets to join her first live. Welcome, Tracy. We have fun. Mandy can't stay on because she's at work. Oh, that's too bad. I hope you have a wonderful week too. Have a good day at work. Ignore the haters. Fairy Godmother, you're awesome. Hi, Andrea. Thank you, Sammy. I will say this about that. I'm not very good at that. I think that's very clear. I try to be, but sometimes, when it's like personal, professional, and then this all just like combines together, I just have no chill. So, yeah. Jamie, hi, seriously, people are nuts. I think it's a little bit more than that. So for me personally, some stuff with this is it's not something that I would do. So I think that's mostly where I struggle is I expect people, to kind of do what I would. And that's just not the case. And that's not really life. But with stuff like this, it's like, you're taking effort out of your day. Like I'm straight up, if I don't want to do something, I am a lazy person. I'm just lazy. Like I don't have enough free time in my life to spend time doing things I don't enjoy. So to me, it doesn't make any sense. Oh gosh, I need to wash my hair, guys. That's what I've learned right now. But, to me, it doesn't make sense to comment on something and spend your time on something that, isn't fun for you. So yeah, I just don't understand that type of logic. It just doesn't make sense to me. And, I don't really want to go out of my way to make somebody feel bad. My exception to that is I used to watch The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Now, it's not something that I really have time for. And I feel like the contestants have just gotten crazier and crazier. And no matter how many seasons you've been on the show, it's like you still have those people who are like, they should spend more time with me. It should just be about me. And it's like, for the love of Pete, this has been like 30, 40 some odd seasons. Watch the show before you apply. That's how the show works. Those people, I do give a bit of crap. I actually, it was when I was younger, and now I feel a little bad about, some of the things I said about people, but they're never going to see that. And, you could tell when I got older, it was, but I'm not going to their like Instagrams and making comment on their page. It was my own personal Twitter. Like, what are you doing? So yeah, I don't understand that type of stuff. Hi, Ramonza. Hi, Amanda. I have a couple of questions, but before that, don't let the shit get to you. You're doing this for you and no one else. If people want to moan, let them, but don't take it to heart. I do try. I try. I'm going to be honest. I try. I'm not very good at it some days. But I do try. Okay, question. I see a question. Will Cassie and Alexander's books start when they were young or from where they are age now wise? So Cassie's book, we're going to jump back a little bit because we've got some stuff to obviously catch up on because people have noticed she's been kind of, MIA. So her book, we're going to go back a little bit, not to when they were 8, but we're going to go back a little. How many kids did Lucas and Emmeline have in the end? We don't hear much about them in EJ's book. Will they be in others? They will be in other books. They have 8 kids. So we know of 6 of them. So there are 2 we haven't heard about. But Alexander's book, we're going to go back a little to explain some of the things from his side because we're about to get into an interesting place in EJ's book. So there is going to be stuff that we're going to go back and explain a little bit, but he's not going to be a teenager when we get into his book. So, good afternoon, Nicole. Let me know if that answers your question. I'll put it, Cassie will be a teenager. I'm not going to tell you where in her teenage life she will be, but Cassie will be a teenager. Alexander will not be a teenager when we get to his book. So I feel like that was also not an evasive answer. I'm trying today, guys. I'm afraid to ask a question because I anticipate they'd be spoilers that you can't answer. Don't be afraid to ask a question. If you have a question and I can't answer it, I'll just tell you that. I'm pretty upfront. Hi, Monica. In today's outtake, Nathan kicked his mom out of the pack and she became rogue. Is she alive still? We actually we're going to find out that answer on Patreon. So just hang on. Let me see where that's at. Let's see. We have, so it's gonna be a little bit, but in the requested outtake that I have, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe here in like 2 or 3 weeks, we will get that answer. The answer is coming though. So yeah, I liked Nathan's background. In Cassie's book, we find out what she's been up to while she's been doing her own thing in EJ's book. Yeah, we will. And you'll also understand why I don't mention her. One of that is because there are a lot of other characters and there's a lot of things going on and there's a lot of setup being done. Have you decided what book you'll do after Alexander's? I have not. It's either going to be a Ribbon book, or it's going to be Keaton Daniels' book. So I don't know which one yet. So it's probably going to come down to, me eeny, meeny, miny, mowing it. I don't know. But it's narrowed down to 2. I'm still waiting for your potential spoiler question, Marnie. I'm watching for it. But yeah, we're gonna see what Cassie's been up to, and it will be clear why we're not talking about her. One thing I will say, I've seen a lot of guesses that she's the sniper. Y'all, she has a Hakura bond with her family. So if she was there, they would know. they would have to search their connection, but they would figure it out. I'm just going to say that. We'll read whatever you post. Whatever I post about what. That's very nice, though. Sophia has 3 siblings, Tyson, Eddie, and it's just the 3 of them. She only had the 2 brothers and herself that we know of. But we know her dad was a bit of a dog after her and before her mom died. So, Are the Kitsunes going to be involved with the resistance group? Can't answer that question. I will say the Kitsunes book is planned for later. I can say that. Does that mean that they're not involved? Not exactly, but we'll see what's involved with them. Now wondering if they will find Nathan's sister. So many twists and turns. So Nathan's sisters, his dad killed them. So they're not. You can't find them. His dad killed them because they were girls. He said that she has 3 siblings in Lexi's book before Lexi goes to find Tyson. I don't know that he does. If he did, that's a typo, because she is an only child. So they didn't know that she had siblings. So if he said that was a typo. Which of the 2 books you decide to go with? Whichever of the 2 books you decide to go with, I write both. I will write both of the books. I just don't know which one I'll be going to after Alexander's book. So I do plan to write both of those books. Cassie is not the sniper. The sniper are Melanie/Ashley and Keaton's mate. We'll see. That is a theory. I've seen several theories about, and there's more than one, you guys. There's more than one of them. We just have our, the best one, the one that's around the most, and then there are other ones. It's a typo. I'll have to look for that, Amanda. If you could put that in Heirs in Print on the Facebook group so that we can catch that when we get to that book, because still editing book 1. I actually really like the edits I did today. I did the chapter where Haley is at Damon's, and it's where she figures out how to bring down the enclosure. And I added little things about Lexi, like wishing Lexi was there, and a little scene where Haley sees Allie. She forgets that, and she mentions a few other times that she thinks that she sees her, which she thinks is crazy because obviously she's not there. But I actually really liked that, adding in, that Allie really was there. So I liked that. But yeah, still on book 1 edit. So yeah, Amanda, if you could just put that in Heirs in Print so that when we get there, it's something that's not missed. Will we see a conversation with the god? Will we see another conversation with the goddess in Azir? I feel like the goddess needs a good comment. If somebody requests that, we can absolutely see that. I don't plan for it right now. I'm wondering if/why Katie or anyone of the kids haven't spotted Eric and co are spelled. I didn't until Eric also has headaches. Headaches don't necessarily mean a spell, you guys. I got how Elise was spelled with the letter. So there's a couple things. Like, I think if you go back, you'll kind of notice there's not just one thing going on. Okay, let's not forget the ring involves multiple groups of supernaturals. So, that opens itself up to many things going on. And I will say it's a little bit different. So there are obviously different things going on with everybody from Redrun, but there is one thing that everybody has in common outside of EJ, Alexander, and all of their siblings. There's something up with them too, though, because they all back off. So just hold on. So yeah, just stew that over. There's multiple supernaturals in play here, guys. Doesn't necessarily just have to be a witch. And there's also another factor to this, guys. So it's been years. And this plan has obviously been laid out and planned for a long time. And people know at this point who the Connors are and what they do. So, this has been in depth. This has been thought out. This has been tested. So there's lots of things going on, and we will see what those are. Okay. I just wanted to say that in spite of the haters, thanks for building the suspense and anticipation. Thank you, Layla. I enjoy it, and I feel like we got a little bit, because obviously lots of setup and stuff going on in Elise and EJ's story, but I really liked this year in their life because we got to see, a little bit more of their interaction, a little bit more of them and their story. So I really liked that. I will say, I think we're towards, the closing part of this out. We'll see how long a couple other points tend to play out. That's not because of any comment that's been made. That is just because we're to the point in the outline where, points are lining up. I think it's definitely over halfway. I'm just not sure how close to the end we are, but we are definitely closing in that direction. And that's not because of anything anybody has said. It's just because that's where the points are going. And as I have said, Cassie's story is probably going to be shorter. There are just things we need to get to see from her side. So, it's not the books aren't going to end because somebody is wanting Alexander's story at this point. I'm tempted to make them all longer just because I'm annoyed. So we'll see where I end up on that one. The ribbon strand where Haley is at the Hardens when Eric comes back from a date with Claudia. Is that coming? That is coming. When, I don't know. It's not the next ribbon strand that's going to be the one I'm deciding between. So that was actually voted on here. The next ribbon strand that I do was voted on here, and the one that won was the one where Phelan doesn't die and she makes it back to Sir Arthur, and she kind of realizes what's going on with Haley. So before all that starts when she's 6. She notices it when Haley's 5. And so she fakes her death and takes her to Sir Arthur. So that's the ribbon strand that will be the next one that's written. It's just when it's going to be written is the question. But yes, that one will be written. I don't know when. We shall see. It's not your fault they don't understand how to build a story. You said it, not me. Okay, back here. Alpha Raven, the older, the one who died. Alpha Raven, the one who died. His youngest daughter, what's going on with her? Did she get out of the house after her dad died? So she was actually just mentioned with Elise when they were talking about who could hate them, who could want to help them but think that they wouldn't accept their help. She mentions Alpha Raven's youngest daughter, who now lives in Washington with her mate, and EJ wanted that story checked out. You got it checked out. That's where she is. Back to the drawing board as soon as I think I got it. Was that because of the headache thing? The headache comment, is that what that's from? I know you are hinting that Angela is going to find her mate at her birthday party. I honestly can't wait for the reactions of EJ, Alexander, and Eric. I mean, if that's the case, if that's what I'm hinting at, it's not just those three. She's got 18 brothers, you guys. So, and then, all of, her Hakura family, and yeah, she's like a super protected little girl. So if that's what happens, guys, it's gonna go down. Are we going to get to hear more about Tabitha and what happened in this reality in any of the kids' books? So it was mentioned that when Haley found her, they found out about Al's group and stuff, and they went and freed those people. Could I write an outline for Tabitha in this reality? Absolutely. I really like her. It would be interesting to write her without Harold, because now, in my head, they're kind of together. But that is something I could do. Is a plan, not at this exact moment, but I do have an outline for Tristan, where obviously, they would come more into play because he's married to their daughter. So, yes and no. That makes no sense. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. The royal, half Hakura, half human. Hetty, do we ever find out what really happened there? It seems suspect that a partial Hakura could be... What? I don't understand this question. I thought we were talking about Hetty, but hold on. The royal, half Hakura, half human. It seems suspect that could be multiple full-blooded royal Hakuras. Haley even mentioned that she couldn't beat her brother. Who are you talking about? I thought you were talking about Hetty, but I don't think that's what you're talking about. Who are you talking about? Titus's family. If you're talking about Titus's other sibling other than Zader that died. So the deal with that, how that happened, is because he just lost complete control of himself, and his family feels his feelings. And there's also the fact that they didn't want to hurt the member of their family. And, it wasn't like they all started fighting back. It's more kind of like, they were doing other stuff, and he just came in and lost it and started killing them. It wasn't that they were fighting back. It wasn't that things like that. They were just doing basic things like washing dishes, and he comes in there and, comes up behind somebody and slits their throat, things like that. So it wasn't like an all-out fight against them. They were not suspecting that he was going to do something. Has Angela ever tried to look at Melanie's future specifically to see if it's also fuzzy? So in a way, yes and no. So she has been trying to see several things, but some things are just fuzzy to her, and she doesn't know why, and she kind of stops looking into that. And they think that maybe it's because she hasn't met certain people, but she doesn't really understand that. So she's not quite sure. She's working on things to figure some stuff out, and we'll see how that plays out. At this point, I've read and watched so many things that I'm like, oh, it's the blah, 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 and I've got it figured out, and halfway through, and still enjoy it, but it's predictable. In this universe, I don't know what the F is going on. Thank you. I love it. Oh, yeah, I get that too. I'm pretty good at guessing, what's going to happen in a crime TV show. So, I got to throw some stuff at people about what's going on. Are there any hints to Phil's mates? Hints. Just one second. Babe, can you put those in the dryer? Thanks. Are there any hints to his mate? Hints. Technically, no. Have we talked about her? Yes. Is Robert the one that gave Mel such a hard time still alive? He is still alive. He is still alive. Has Haley cashed in her favor from Mercutius for writing the ribbon? No. No, she has not. I love Angela, but TJ is just... Angela and TJ are a fun set because Angela is obviously very mischievous, and TJ is a bit more shy than she is, but he just kind of, he's like, I gotta watch out for her, so you know what, I'm gonna be along for the ride, and so he's just kind of always there. So we'll see that a little bit more in Alexander's book, where he's like, I just went, I was physically present, guys. That's what I do. So I was wondering if EJ and Alexander, any of the others, show a memory not as pushing, but in a good way. I'm not sure if I understand this question, so if I don't answer it, let me know. So when they're pushing, it's against somebody they think has done something that's upset them. Like, obviously, if they were in a situation where, they walk into a meeting and it's somebody threatening their family and they start pushing, well, they could see that one of the people wasn't for it and was against it, and they could leave them alone. But typically when they use that power, what they're seeing is what they're upset about. So, okay, I think I caught up on the questions. If I didn't answer your question that you had, write it again, because I'm caught up on both screens, I think. So, yeah, I think I have. Okay. What else we got, people? But yeah, we've got Robert's still around. He's still in Red Run. Angela's just fun. Do any of those with Hakura blood take missions, or would their non-Hakura Do any of those with Hakura blood take missions, or would their non-Hakura mate take them too? Oh, do only those with Hakura blood take missions? So yes. That is how that works. So if, there's a Hakura mated to a demon, they're not going to send a demon out on a mission unless they're with, their mate or something like that. But yeah, they probably, they're not going to send out human mates. So which book is Melanie's favorite from the Thoroughbred series, and how many are in the series? So I think I actually love this series of books. I read these books as a child. Her favorite book is my favorite book, which is Melanie's Treasure. So that's actually where Haley's horse's name came from, Pirate. In the book, it's called Melanie's Treasure, and the horse's name is Pirate's Treasure. It's a black horse. That's where Eric and Haley's horse name came from. And there are, I want to say, there are 72 of them, I think. Don't quote me. But I think that there are 72 of them. But yeah, I read those as a teenager. I used to ride horses. Would have loved to have a horse, just didn't live in a place. We didn't live on a farm where I could keep them myself, so I would have had to board a horse. But yeah, I used to ride horses, did trick riding, was in a rodeo. I was pretty serious about it. And then I started playing volleyball and got way more into that. So it was something my parents were like, you can't do both. So I went with volleyball. But I still love horseback riding. I love the Thoroughbred series. I still have all of them. So, yeah. I'm still trying to process this week's chapter. Faithlyn, I don't think you're alone. There was a lot to process. Are there wolves in the pack whose job is just to clean up and body disposal, or is that a general warrior job? So there are people who do clean up. Warriors do as well. Obviously, if they're fighting somewhere that's not there. With the fairies, it's a little bit easier because they just go and it's all done. But yeah, there are people who have that responsibility. Not wanting to spoil it for others did not catch this, but I saw a name mix up in Dream. That's been corrected. It was not giving away anything. It was just switching. It's been a week, guys. It's not. It was corrected. You were not seeing things. It's not indicative of what's happening. It was just a brain fart. I feel like Dylan's parents being killed is important. Do we know exactly what went down in the meeting that they had before they were killed? Dylan does. I know they were being watched, but do we know what happened? Dylan does, because the witch didn't die. She is now dead. But Dylan knows what happened. And so does Lucas, and so does Travis. Are Cassie and Angela still the only two female grandchildren of Titus and Veronica? They are. The Siren's dad is Alpha Theo. Lux is part Siren. Not even a question, so no evasiveness needed. Well, you're wrong, but I see why you think that. But that's not accurate. So it's not a bad guess, but I'll just tell you that one. I feel like you come up with a lot of theories, so I will give you that one, Amanda. It's in the right direction. I'll say that, but it's not totally accurate. So okay. Let's see where to. In Raised to Cura, Marcus gives Haley a book about a werewolf named Eric. Is this a real book that we can read or something you came up with? It's something that I came up with. I'm sure there is a werewolf series where a werewolf is named Eric. I'm sure that is a thing. But that one's actually just something I came up with. That's why I didn't name the book series, because I don't know of those book series. I have a lot of book series I write. I have a lot of shows that I kind of bring into the books, things that I like. But that one I just made up. No question, but I'm really excited to see these books in print. I hope my prediction comes true. A prediction about your universe comes true. Which prediction? And I would love to see these books in print too. That would be a lot of fun. We'll have to see what happens once I get it all edited. Like I said, I'm up. I just edited the Black Isn't the Only Color. So next up is Home Sweet Home. And you know, over halfway. So that's exciting. That is exciting. It's been a lot of work. Because yeah, like I said, I've added things here and there. If there's spells and other things, as you said, stopping conversations from happening, I can see Haley saying no more, respecting boundaries. So that's not something that Haley's going to say. Haley's going to come up with Haley's going to have some words about a lot of this. But that's not one of them. She will always be respectful of people's feelings and their boundaries, but maybe, a little bit more pushing to make sure it's a boundary will happen. And that's not to say that it hasn't happened. As we know from EJ and Lisa's side, when EJ straight up said that Eric called Drake and offered to heal Melanie and Sam. But on Lisa's side, Drake and Sam were a little hurt that it wasn't offered. So, I was thinking colorful words. Oh, she will have colorful words, you guys. She will have colorful words. Will Angela get her own book? I do have an outline for Angela. My prediction is this universe is just as exciting and enthralling as Harry Potter universe, but for adults. Oh my gosh. Thank you. That is so nice. I do like Harry Potter. I like movies. I haven't got all the way through the books. I wasn't allowed to read them as a child. So that tells you how far away I've gone from my childhood upbringing writing these books. But I was not allowed to read those books as a child, so I'm, way behind on reading them now. But I'm reading them. I really like them. So, did they get to Leah before she was taken? No, they did not. Will Nathan's sisters make an appearance? They're dead, guys. His dad killed them, so they're dead. That wasn't a lie. His dad did kill them because they were girls. His dad was a bad guy, guys, like a really bad guy. But yeah, his dad is a bad guy, and his mom's not great either. So, Aiden and Lucinda are Twilight bound on both sides. They are on both sides. So, yeah, Aiden kind of, yeah, I think that's on the list. Let me look. Don't quote me. Am I lying? I don't know. I think that them having that conversation is on the list. Yeah. So the first conversation that they have about it after Valentine's Day is on the list. So we'll see that. But yeah, I thought that was a fun little thing to tell everybody. Aiden kind of, you just see the evolution of his character. So, because he's always been a different type of fairy. Like, his love for Lucinda has always been different than other fairies, because he truly does care about her and he loves her a lot. So it's just, how they were raised kind of holds a lot of them back, because it's just how things are done. And they don't really like to go against the grain. So I've loved the evolution of his character and seeing how that goes. But yes, they are Twilight bound on both sides. How that came about is actually, it's a fun story. But yeah, okay. Can you tell us when someone starts to figure out the hole they can't pop unless it's an emergency okay, can you tell us when someone starts to figure out that the hole I'm going to read this question right, you guys. The hole can't pop unless it's emergency was not said by Eric or Drake. I will say we will see them realize that in EJ's book. So I'm not kidding when I say when I write the epilogue of EJ's book and then jump back into Cassie's, I'm just going to hide from the internet. Okay? I'm hiding. So I was thinking that Alania has set some things into play to sideswipe Angela and maybe Cassie also. I will say this, out of all of Haley's children, there is one child that Alania would care about the most. Make of that what you will. To me, it has what it takes to be just not as big, but it is about how you're publishing. You pick pictures. Well, someone would have to want to publish it. So I try not to, get ahead of myself with stuff like that. I'm more of, the glass is not half full. It is half empty. That's kind of where I live in my brain. So, we'll see where that all goes. I would love to get these books in print for you guys. I think that would be really cool to see the series and where it goes. So, yeah, we'll just have to see. Aiden and Lucinda. Yeah, they're really cute for a fairy couple. And they're kind of, they bring a new kind of era into Foray because they are the king and the queen. So, like, how they do things are different. And it's setting a new tone for Foray. It's very different. It's bucking tradition. And yeah, they're bringing in a new era to Foray. They're fun. EJ feels like the anchor sibling to them all. He is such a fabulous character. I agree. He is the anchor sibling to them all. He's the oldest. Cassie what? I don't know why there are multiple comments of Cassie. If you're saying that's who Alania cares about the most, no, it's not Cassie. Hi, Lucia. But yeah, EJ is an anchor character for his siblings. So yeah, he's who they all look up to. He's the oldest, even though it's by a couple minutes. But they all still do look up to him and focus on him. Da, da, da. So EJ and Elise are Twilight bound, but they don't all enter the ribbon. Right. So all Twilight bound couples are not guaranteed to get into the ribbon, but you have to be Twilight bound to go into the ribbon. So we'll see where their story goes and if EJ is right and he doesn't think they're going to enter it, but they could. So the options there. We shall see. What about his mom? She was sent away, Nathan's mom. We will see the resolution to that here in a few weeks, you guys. So there's a traitor in Red Run. Is it Robert? It certainly seems like there's a traitor in Red Run, doesn't it? And I'm obviously not going to tell you if that's right, wrong, or who it is. So, could Alania mess with Angela's sight from the beyond? From the beyond, she would need help. She would need somebody to be on her side. Could she have set things in motion before she died? Absolutely. Well, that now changes my guess. What changes your guess? What guess? What's happening? I need more details. In the beyond, Arian told the triplets that he and Aiden killed quite a few fairies that beat Haley, and they told him to tell her. Well, we see that conversation. If somebody requests it, because there's actually a couple things to that conversation, because it's not just Arian's secret to tell. So there's actually a conversation that happens between Arian and Aiden first, because obviously that's something that they should decide together. It's not just either one of their secrets just to tell her. And so it might be something that all three of them discuss together. So if somebody wants to request those, they can. Obviously, the conversation between Arian and Aiden in the beyond would have to happen first to kind of see where their head's at to gauge that. Because as you saw, Aiden doesn't think that he deserves for people to know that. So it's a way that he's punishing himself. He doesn't want anyone's absolution from how he feels. So that's part of why people don't know. And that's why Haley doesn't know. In the beginning, it was obviously because they had to keep that a secret because they didn't want unrest to start and they didn't want people to know they were protecting her. But obviously, as the story went on, it was about him not feeling like he deserved people's, like, I'm trying to think of the right word, but he just doesn't feel like he deserves people to give him some sort of understanding, because he knows that all that was wrong, and he doesn't want people to like brush over what he did because he was doing this in the background. So it's so if somebody wants to request those, they can. The witch that predicted Eric being strong, what coven was she from? She was from Nashville. She is dead. Nathan killed her with Cassandra after Eric was born. So, because they were looking for her to figure out who she was. Because they didn't want her to tell anybody else that and have people coming for their son. So, that would be something if Haley, Eric, Elise, and EJ all ended up in the same ribbon. That would be funny. I hope they tell her. It would mean so much to her. I agree. Would mean a lot to Haley. We're not in the books where we would see that because obviously we're not following Haley. So that would have to be in this group. Was Nathan's dad part of the ring? That is a good question. Yes, he was. But obviously his son was very different, and Nathan killed his dad, and then Caleb's dad killed the Beta. So I mean, that ring was cut off from the Black Mountain Pack. So yeah, and that's not to say the ring was happy with his dad because of how he treated Nathan. Because part of their thing is manipulation. Manipulation is a big part of the ring, and it's raising your children to think that what you're doing is normal, to have them right by your side. But Nathan's dad didn't do that. He treated Nathan horribly. And so Nathan hated everything he stood for. So yeah, the ring wasn't happy because, they lost a huge pack. Obviously, the witch that said Eric was going to be powerful, they lost that. They lost that connection. And that's not to say that they would ever have it, because Nathan is who he is. And whether or not his dad showed him love or not, it would have been harder for him to do what he needed to do. But he would have done it because that's his character and that's who he is. But for the ring, they were like, you didn't even give us a chance. Like, he just hates everything that you stand for because you were a jerk to him. So, is all of Cassandra's family dead except her sister? How is Nikki related? So Nikki is her sister's daughter, and all of Cassandra's family is dead except for her sister, because her sister didn't live there anymore. Her sister met her mate and was out of the pack. So Nathan's dad truly did kill his daughters. No, he did. He killed them. He killed them. That also wasn't a popular thing with the ring. He wasn't a popular man, you guys. He was a jerk. Let's see. I believe it's Angela that Alania will try to swipe because she is the most powerful with sight, and Alania is a jealous bitch. I mean, what? When you say you care about the most, do you mean someone she has genuine feelings for, someone she is threatened by? That's a good qualification. So it's not someone she has genuine feelings for or loves. I think so she's an interesting character for me because the only person that brought that out in her was Fenelton. So in the reality where he's still alive, she's different, but she has more capacity to love. But in this, in the Alania we get most of the time, she doesn't have that capacity in her to truly love someone who is not herself. It all died with Fenelton. So it is not somebody that she genuinely has feelings for. It is someone who threatens her. Did Alania know about the rings and just not care? So Alania is kind of a person that buried her head in the sand. She can control her powers enough to manipulate things the way she wants them to go. So does she know about them? Yes. Does she ignore certain things about them? Absolutely. She ignores things about them. She would see a path coming along and just, stop herself from seeing a path that she didn't want to, unless she could use that path to further her own agenda by her whispers. So she did know, but she also didn't know because she refused to kind of look at stuff that didn't help her. And yeah, let me know if that answers your question. The family that the Hallorans took over from, how long did they rule? And did they make the crappy tradition like making your mate bleed? Yes, they did. They ruled Foray for 200 years before the Halloran family took over. With that being said, I agree it's Angela because she is the most powerful person with sight. We will see. We will see. She is the only one that Alania directly told. She's the one that she started sending them a letter saying that, they would never be able to protect her. So that's the one that she is focused on, really. There are none so blind as those who do not want to see, Alania. I mean, yeah. All right, let's go back here. So Nathan's dad did truly kill his daughters. What pack is Cassandra's brother-in-law in? We haven't mentioned them. They live in Kentucky, but we haven't mentioned that pack specifically. It's not the pack that took Teleted. That's not the same pack, but they live in Kentucky. So, okay, I think I'm caught up on the questions. Are we out of questions? Do we have more questions? What's happening? But yeah, I think we are close-ish to the start of Cassie's book. I should know more this week about how close we are once I get into writing some chapters. So I'm toying with things from the next side of Elise's side. So we'll see where that goes, because we'll just have to see. Is Nikki bitchy in every reality? Yes. Eric mentioned not wanting Haley to go to Missouri because of the vampires. I remembered Eric pretty much. So that's in Raised to Cura. In Raised to Cura, the Missouri vampires get wiped out. In our original reality, that didn't happen. Has a partial siren's name been mentioned? Yes. And I was just like, that says, has a partial siren's name been mentioned? It has been mentioned. There are more than one. So what can you tell us without giving too much away about what you want? I'm going to need a specification. Okay, I'm going to butcher this name, and for that I am very sorry. But Second Yoda says, hi, everybody. Hi. Did Eric and his friends change the policy where the lead warrior challenges to have a fight? Hold on. Did Eric and friends change the policy where the lead warrior challenges has to fight the ranked members to win, or is it still just the wolfless? So they changed it completely, and they changed it because Haley said it wasn't fair, that a wolfless would have to fight somebody, because when you get to the finals, you have to fight in human form and then wolf form. Well, the wolfless person is just fighting in human form. So it's not fair for them to have to fight and win the tournament when everybody else doesn't have to do that and then fight the pack leadership. So it's changed to where if a wolfless won the tournament, for them, what they would do is they would have to train with the pack leadership so they could see how they could fight against another alpha and things like that. But that doesn't mean they don't win the tournament. So let me know if that answers your question. Are Robert and his friends in on what's happening between both packs? We shall see. Anything. That doesn't help me. I'm going to need you to narrow it down. I need a topic of things I can tell you about stuff without giving them away. Topic. Because if you don't give me a topic, I'll just go off and things that I say might not make sense because we don't know. Like, there's just so many things that the reader doesn't know. Gosh, there's just so many things. I gotta have a topic. Give me a direction. I gotta have somewhere to go. Ashley. Things about Ashley. Well, obviously, we have seen Elise call into question whether or not her family is from Missouri. She thinks that's incredibly convenient that Ashley happens to be from the one place that, they're not friendly with Black Mountain Pack or any of their allies. So, there are allies within everybody. They're not necessarily friendly. Like Alpha Theo. Alpha Theo is allies with Eric, but he hates Lucas. But that doesn't change the fact that he's allies with Eric and the fact that they're friends. And it doesn't change the fact that Eric and Lucas are friends. They don't have that in Missouri. So is Sierra the partial siren? Sierra is the beta's daughter of the pack that Ashley's in. So she's a werewolf. But how could Ashley possibly move so fast if the sniper was her, can't pop hollow or use a hollow port hypothetically? So I will say this about that. There's obviously multiple members of the resistance. There's also the fact that every time they get to where the sniper is, they're saying they can't smell anything. Does that mean someone's not there? Or does that mean they can't track them because they can't sense or smell them? So there's actually multiple answers to that question. But we'll find out. Okay, see, this is telling me I have a notification, but I don't see one. Why is Missouri such a problem? Is it ring related? We shall see. Why did Porter have to challenge for the beta? Alphas have a choice. Like EJ and Alexander chose which wolf they wanted as beta blood. Because because Nathan challenged to take the alpha spot. Normally the alpha spot is handed over to their child, and normally the beta spot is handed over to the child. Yes, EJ and Alexander are in a unique situation where they got to say which one was going to be their beta, but it still came from the Carruthers family. Both of them are within the Carruthers family because that's who the beta of the pack is. So Porter had to challenge because his family was not the beta, and Nathan had to challenge to take over the alpha spot, so he had to prove it as well. Because, like it was said, Porter had beta blood. His family probably should have been the betas, but the reason they weren't is because there was ring involvement, and Nathan's dad was crappy. So part of this goes back to, they're honoring their traditions, because Nathan could have just killed the beta, current beta, but Porter wanted to show that, he did deserve to be the beta to their pack. So that's why. Man, it's so many different possibilities. I think Ashley could be Phil's mate. We'll see. We'll see what's up with Ashley and what's going on with that. I wonder if the sniper is another half fairy, half Hakura, where they can hide their scent like Haley does. That's not a bad theory. It's not a bad theory. But there, guys, just buckle in. Is the old Beta's family still part of the pack? No. No. So, when the old Beta's son was old enough, he challenged Porter to a fight to the death, and he died. He never met his mate, and the Beta... his beta's dad killed his mate, so she was already dead, and he was an only child. So they're not part of the pack because they died. So I'm not sure if anyone mentioned, but I keep feeling like Melanie and Ashley are the same person. I've seen that theory several times. A lot of people feel that way. We'll see how it all plays out, you guys. I promise we will see how it all plays out. So, but I have seen that theory a lot in the comments on Dream, in the comments on Facebook. So, I will say there are a lot of hints. There are a lot of hints about Ashley in the book. So, Ramonza also believes they're the same person. So, that's another thing about Ashley. I'll tell you, there are a lot of hints in the book about Ashley. So, what else about Ashley? I just keep trying to go back to, once I've caught up on the questions, which I believe I have, unless Patreon's not notifying me when you guys are commenting. It did that once. I was very upset. No, I'm caught up on those. Okay. What else about Ashley can we say? We also know that Micah knows her. Elise believes that Ashley is some type of source for Micah and the Hakura. So that's something about Ashley. Are there more than 8 people in the Resistance, like the ones that keep helping the Connors and sending them people? Yes, there are more than 8 people. There are more than 8 people. But let's see. We know that Mason and Kingston are a mated couple in Alpha Davis's pack. We know that they have taken in Ashley, but we also learned, according to Elise, that Ashley has a relative in that pack, in name only. So we know that too, but it's not who she's living with and who's kind of taken her under her wing, under their wing. So yeah, Mason and Hendrik is who she lives with. According to Elise, there is somebody in the pack that she's related to. Is Ashley's current pack leadership involved in the ring? We will find out those answers at a later point in time. Eric believes that they are. Alpha Theo believes that they are. EJ even believes that they are. So they don't have proof. Do the 8 we saw of the Resistance span all other supernatural groups? The 8 that we saw, no. Are there other supernaturals involved? Yes. Is Ashley's current... Oh, sorry, I read that already. Micah has never seen Melanie, so he would not know if Ashley was Melanie. That's true. Micah has never met Melanie. All that he did was put a back door into Jason's computer for Alexander. He doesn't know why he did that, and he doesn't really care. So, no, he has never seen Melanie. He doesn't know what she looks like. He never met her. The only Hakura that has met Melanie is Levi. So, EJ and Levi are the people outside of dancing competitions and things that have met Melanie. What was Sam's parents' rank? Her parents were warriors, and we will talk about them eventually, but we talk about them, but they're warriors. Sam's not an Omega. I saw that. That's never been said. Sam is also not the Beta in Blue Moon. She would have been Dylan's sister, and that would have been very bad for her. Travis and Dylan are the only children of Betty and Davis, so they did not have a girl. But yeah, Micah has never seen Melanie. What else can I say? I will say there are a lot of hints for what's going on with Cassie that I haven't seen anybody pick up. Will Red Run? When will Red Run get their new Luna? You mean Dakota or Dalton's? They're gonna have 2 because Dakota and Dalton run the pack together. But if you mean their mates, we shall see. We shall see. But did I get to all the questions? I just keep going back to what I can tell you all. I can tell you all that we're just like, it just doesn't ever stop like getting crazier. Do all of Haley's kids have a house on her island? When they turn 16, yes. They conjure their own house on the island. They can all stay in the big house with Haley and Eric, but they all can conjure their own. Obviously, if they have a mate, once they turn 16, or in the Hakura realm, like they're just considered adults there. So once they're 16, Haley tells them they can conjure their own house. Is it only Alexander that sees the video? Did Micah himself not see it? No, he didn't. He doesn't know what he did for Alexander. He just built a backdoor into Jason's computer. So Alexander asked him to do that. Micah knows they're friends. He knows that they're allies. He knows he's not really doing anything weird. He's just not really, he doesn't care what Alexander is doing. He just built the backdoor for him. He doesn't monitor it. He has never seen Melanie. He has met Ashley. Micah has met Ashley. Micah says they're friends. He doesn't know what Ashley would say, but Micah says they're friends. So, but no, Micah has never seen a video that Alexander has watched. He doesn't know what Alexander is using the backdoor for, and he doesn't care. It doesn't affect him. Can you tell us which each side of the Connors kids lean towards? That will be revealed. Some of them I can't tell you that because it would give away some things. I think a lot of them are clear. I think it's clear Alexander and EJ are leaning towards their wolf. But Alexander's an interesting one because he's a healer, so he's more in tune with his fairy side, but he's also obviously a very good fighter, so he is Sakura. So he's truly like a mix of all three, with his wolf just being super strong. So he's an interesting one. I think it's obvious which one Angela leans towards. Preston is also kind of an interesting one. Wesley is his wolf. Theo is his wolf. So we'll see some of that. But yeah, so I've said it a couple times in this video, but Micah never met Melanie. He doesn't know what Melanie looks like. Yeah, he doesn't know who she is. Other than she's good at dancing and she lives in New York. That's what Micah knows about Melanie. But Alexander has also never actually seen or met Melanie. Do I remember it correctly? He's never met Melanie, but he has seen her in those dancing videos. So he watches her dance. He's seen her dance. Those videos of her dancing are her dancing. Where is she dancing? Maybe it's in New York. Maybe it's not. Maybe the video isn't really a live feed. Maybe there's lots of other things going on. Maybe it is a live feed. Maybe she's in New York. Maybe she's not. But the person in the video dancing is Melanie. So, have that what you will. Does Haley have a different birthday in each strand? Ray's Sakura was in March or April. It was in April. And the OG's birthday party was after Emlyn started school and met Lucas. So, yes, we moved at a different pace in Lucas's book. Her birthday is in April. It says that in Emlyn's book. It says that the Halloran family is all in the same month of April. So we just moved quickly through some stuff in Lucas's book. It might be out of order. Maybe. Did I change her birthday? I might have changed her birthday, you guys. I think originally I had all their birthdays in April, but I think you're right. I think her birthday is different in the original reality. It is in April in Ray's Sakura. It was going to be April, but I think when I did Emmeline's book, I had to redo some stuff. Yeah, I did. I did change her birthday. You're right. She has different birthdays. Woo! For the kids, since they all have wolves, would they feel pain if their mate was with someone else after they were marked? Just thinking if they would have a Hakura or fairy mate. So that would not be a problem. Yes, they would. Their wolf would be in pain. They can call other sides of themselves forward should they choose to do that. That would only be a problem with a fairy. So, and the reasons for that are, but maybe not anymore. So in the past, that would have been a problem with the fairy, but Lucinda and Aiden are kind of bringing a new era to Foray. But Hakura, like, their relationships are based on communication, respect, and they talk to each other. It's not one person, says or does things, and that's how it goes. Kind of like Logan. When Katie was like, I'm not cool with off periods, he's like, then we don't have them. Kalista, Harper, and Gunnar have their own situation going on. It's about communication. It's about talking, things like that. But that doesn't mean that the person they're speaking to is Melanie. That's true. That doesn't mean that. It just means the person talking, like, what they see is her dancing. She doesn't talk. She's just dancing. So, no, it doesn't mean the person that they're talking to is Melanie. It doesn't mean that they're not talking to Melanie. I think the characters have all noticed it doesn't sound truly like Melanie, and they can only see her for minutes at a time on Skype. No one's ever sat down and had like an hour-long conversation with Melanie over Skype. Elisa said, you get her for a few minutes at a time here and there. She talks longer in emails, but they said she doesn't communicate like she used to. So, there's a lot of things going on with that. Hi, Amanda. Hey, pretty lady. Do we know the reason Alexander can see Mel in the video, but he couldn't see her in the pictures? Me, as the author, knows why. You guys know. You guys don't know yet. Yeah, you don't know yet. So if it's Melanie in the videos, they could be recorded similar time and doctored. That is an option. Da, da, da. Ah, don't do that. Bad phone. I'm thinking Eric's grandma is still out there and helping the rain, I bet. We'll see the answer to Eric's grandma. We will get that answer. I bet the old Betas family is part of the cover up. And the old Betas family is dead. So that has nothing to do with Melanie. They're dead. So much info right now. There's a lot of info. Thanks for the answer. There went my other question about EJ seeing the video and if that was really her, because EJ and Melanie have met. They have met. There's also the fact that Melanie's family knows her too, and they know how she dances, especially Sam. Sam was at every dance that she went to. It was always Sam going with her. So you would not be able to trick Sam about who Melanie is dancing. So yeah. And all her family has seen her dance. All of Red Run has seen her dance. EJ also saw her dance. So there's something that when she dances that people have like an emotional response, and you can't fake that. You can't fake that with somebody. So will you tell us why, please? Oh gosh, tell you why what? Guys, I'm like move on from topics. So if there's something that I talked about that you're going to ask a question about, just explain the little blurb, tell you why what. But yeah, so yeah, just because it's Melanie in the videos doesn't mean that she's in New York. It doesn't mean that she's not. It doesn't mean that she evolved as a person and changed her style of things because, she went to a new place and was without her family. That could be the case. It's certainly not where, things are hinted at, but that's still an option. So, but yeah, videos can be altered, and no one is asking Micah to analyze a video. Micah doesn't know what's in the video. No one with a tech background has looked into that. Why would they? So, I still don't see a response to tell us why what. So, okay, see, this is telling me that I have emails. Hold on. Why Alexander can see the videos but not the pictures. I'm not going to tell you that. I will say this about that. There's obviously some sort of thing going on with the pictures. I think it's very well obvious that they are spelled to everyone outside of Red Run. The video feed is only supposed to be for her family. So it's not. There are 3 people that know Alexander has access to it. Alexander, now EJ, and Micah. And Micah doesn't really know what he has access to. He just knows that he has access to Jason's computer. So technically, there are 2 people that know, and they have absolutely no reason to tell anybody because there's still that side of them, and there's still that really big fear for Alexander that the McAllisters are trying to keep Melanie from him. So EJ doesn't truly believe that, but he knows that Alexander does. And he's not going to take something from his brother because obviously, having a backdoor into Jason's computer is not exactly, the greatest way to go about this. But, they're keeping the secrets as brothers. So there is literally no one who knows he has this access because Micah is good. So, it's not traceable that Alexander has this access. So people do not know that anyone outside of Red Run is watching this live feed of a recital. That's what I'll say about that. I'm wondering if the red lipstick is important. It's just something that Melanie likes, guys. She likes red lipstick. She's got black hair. I like red lipstick. Wanted a character that really liked red lipstick. So, that's that. Is the Demon Prince alive? And if so, is he someone we should think about? You mean the one from Raised to Cura? Is that the Demon Prince we're talking about? The guy from Raised to Cura that caused a problem. We'll have to see if we see him again. I suspect that Sharon I suspect that Sharon spelled the photos because Drake was overprotective. No, Sharon would charm the photos if she did anything. We'll have to see if the Demon Prince comes into play, but Sharon can't spell a picture. She could charm it, but she can't spell it. She's not a witch. Sharon is a partial fairy. Okay. I'm going to jump back into the Patreon thing because it's not telling me when you guys post. It's only very obnoxious. Normally it does. If they were charmed, Haley and others would see that right. Yes, a partial fairy would be able to know that there was something wrong with the pictures. The pictures are not charmed of Melanie. They're not charmed. A fairy would notice that. EJ would have noticed that. Okay, see, why is it not telling me when I get a notification here anymore? This is very annoying. I'm going to need them to fix this. But I feel like that was a lot of tidbits about what's going on with the video versus the pictures. I feel like that was. I'm very proud of myself right now. A lot of tidbits. Will we find out in EJ's book who called Alexander crying? I think it was Melanie/Ashley. We do not find out in EJ's book who that was. So, yeah. Do we? No. No, not in this book. Apparently I need to go back to Patreon, check if we have more comments, because it's no longer telling me. It's only highly irritating. Oh, you little brat. Okay, see. Patreon, you're letting me down right now. Hold on, I saw that there's a new question. I'm gonna get back to it. Okay, hold on. Go to the bottom. There we go. When the sniper saves Everly and gets mad and gives her the vest, is it because she's told by a fairy that she's pregnant through an earpiece? That's not a bad guess, but no, she doesn't have an earpiece. She came alone. The sniper came alone to save Everly and Juliana. So that's not a bad guess, but no, she didn't have an earpiece in because she came by herself. Her being upset with Everly has nothing to do with her being pregnant. The sniper has no way of knowing that she is. So it's not about that. I do like the thought process, though. I'm not going to lie. I like the thought process. I can see the logic. I see it. Okay. Do we have more questions? Is everybody on information overload? Are you guys going to ask more questions that make me answer things that I probably shouldn't? I have no chill, you guys. I'm so excited for where this is going. And then I'm really excited about some of the information we're going to get on Cassie's story. And as I've said, her title gives away who her mate is. So if you haven't guessed it by the time we start that book, well, then it's not going to be a surprise. Because the title is going to tell you. At this point in the story, has Cassie found her mate? Is she keeping it quiet? Has Cassie found her mate at this point in the story? Yes. Is she keeping it quiet? No. Are we hearing about it? No, because I can't say things without giving it away. So that's where Cassie has been, y'all. Does the sniper avoid touching Juliana because she didn't want Juliana to get a flash of her memories. That's actually a very good observation and accurate. Yes, that's why she avoided touching Juliana. I feel like EJ has melted my brain. Why do we feel like EJ has melted your brain? Are Sims only for fairies? No. A non-fairy could be put into a sim. It would be a bad idea because fairies know to look for a ripple, whereas another person wouldn't, and their brain would just become complete and utter mush because they would never leave. So can they? Yes. Would people do that? No, because they would just get stuck and they would never come out. I'm excited as well. I want to be in your mind. My mind is a crazy barrel of things a lot of the time, guys. But yes, Amanda, that is 100% accurate on the sniper and Juliana. Information overload equals melted brain. What did EJ melt your brain about? What did EJ give us that was information overload? I feel like this whole book is information overload. Like, I feel like we started right out the gate. If you haven't read this book, stop watching immediately because I'm about to say a massive spoiler. So if you're not caught up, cease watching. I will give you a 5 count. Okay, this book started off with a bang with Cassandra dying, and I feel like we just, built from there. Like, we have not gotten less crazy since then. We do not get less crazy either, you guys. We don't stop. We just keep going more and more and more and more. It gets crazier, all the things that have happened. And that barrel of crazy that is this book and Cassie's book do not touch the barrel of crazy that is Alexandra's book. That's just me, and I have no chill about any of it. Do all water fairies have the ability to see memory flashes? They do. It's not necessarily if you touch them, it will happen, but the option is there. So I meant, it's like he used his pushing power on me. I have so many thoughts. Alexandra can do that too. Yeah, that's not great for anybody coming up, by the way. It's really bad for everybody. Really bad. Is Cassandra actually dead? Yes. I was wondering if this was a witch raised cure situation. No, she is dead. She is dead, dead, dead. The 8 we solved the resistance. Will you pretty please tell us which supernatural groups were present? I will tell you it was one group. The 8 that were seen is one supernatural group. Will I tell you which one? No. But it's just one group. But yes, Cassandra is dead. She really just died. It was just an accident. I realize that I have done this to everyone, making them question whether people are really dead or whether it was really an accident. But both things are true. Are the snipers all in one group? They're all in the resistance. If you mean if they're all one group of supernaturals. Hold on, let me pull up Alexander's outline and make sure that I'm about to say the correct thing. Yes, all the snipers are one group. Okay, I think I'm caught up again. But yeah, it's so crazy, guys. Whew. Craziness. Has the point where Connor's mate will be in Lexi's territory that Alania warned about passed? No. I feel so bad for Nathan, but I loved his conversation with Ray. Nathan's going through the grieving process. I do feel bad for him because obviously with what happened with his family, Cassandra became his family. His family. I can talk. And, obviously there were things that happened. What is that? That shaped Cassandra and, their lives together. And they did build their pack up to be a respectable, well-known pack. So what is Sierra's last name? We'll find out. But yeah, there's lots to her and them as a couple. I do feel bad for him, because he's a good guy. He genuinely is a good guy. But his friendship with Ray is really something that I like too. And when Ray found Nora, Nathan was very happy for him. And Nathan's just not in that place. They're still close. They're still friends because, they do have something that binds them of losing their first mate. Yes, Ray has a new mate, but he still lost his first mate. So they do have that as a bond, and they're friends. Like, that's solidified their friends. So yeah, but right now Nathan's in the grieving process himself. So, but Sierra's last name, we'll find out her last name, guys. Does the prediction the witch made about Eric color Cassandra's feelings of Eric needing a she-wolf in Raised to Cure Up? It colors a lot of Cassandra's feelings about Eric. It colors Nathan's too, because for Nathan, he's more accepting of who Eric's mate was. Now, if Eric's mate had been a she-wolf, that might have been roles reversed with them. Except Nathan's very direct, and he just would have outright said it. He thought Claudia was a nice girl, but he didn't want Claudia for Eric. He knew, like they both knew, that Eric was meant for great things. He was meant to change things in the werewolf world. And for Nathan, watching Eric grow up, he was always kind of, self-reliant. He's kind of a bit of an introvert and very self-focused on things. He's focused on his family, focused on being the best alpha he can be. But he's kind of he's not super outgoing. And he needs somebody that can kind of bring him out of a shell, make him have fun, because his life is mostly, very structured, very organized. And without Haley, because obviously of her age, we saw that Eric, he was very militant. He was unforgiving. He was, in charge, and people wanted to be with him because he was very powerful, and he was kind of no nonsense and was going to do what he wanted to do and don't get in his way. And he's still that way. He's still that way with Haley, but he has fun. And that's something that Nathan truly wanted for Eric, is for him to have fun. Now, for Cassandra, she does have a little bit of prejudice with other supernatural groups because she's a werewolf, so she thinks that werewolves are the best. Part of her prejudice comes from her past with fairies. So yeah, that's part of it. But it's also fairies are just known for being flighty, and she just doesn't think that that's, what Eric needs, is somebody who's flighty. She wants somebody who's stable and things like that. So that's part of her problem. Even though, once you get to know Haley, that's not her. It's still just a prejudice that people have in their minds. Do we hear from Robert again? Robert's still around, y'all. If Eric hates dancing, why was he at a club where he flew off Claudia? He owns it. So it's the club that Eric owns. As the owner, he is there on occasion. He wasn't dancing, but he was in the club, and he wasn't back in his office. He was kind of in the VIP area, just making sure things were going well. He owns it, so he does show up. It's the club from Lexi's book. Cassandra's thinking werewolves are the best is very fairy of her. It is. Her hypocrisy is just kind of interesting to me. Would Katie have to suspect anything wrong as far as witchcraft on her family / Elise to be able to tell, or can she always sense it? I'm sure all these years she has been around, especially Sunday dinners. So here's the deal with that. Katie and the Bishops are extra sensitive to dark magic that David was involved with. They're very attuned to that type of magic. But if you are trying to mess with that group of people and you've done your research, you know that. So you would have to go you would have to go darker, you would have to go further, you would have to find a way around that, because absolutely she would have noticed. Do they notice all dark magic? No. You have to talk to them. So if you go to a witch, they can't just tell, like if you're not wearing an object or things like that, they can't tell that you've been spelled. Now, if they're looking for a type of magical signature, they absolutely would know. But if it's outside of that, you have to talk to them. You have to tell them, hey, I'm getting headaches. This phrase just keeps like repeating in my brain, for them to go, okay, well, that's not normal. And for them to look into things like that. Let me know if that answers your question. Was Haley's guess about the sniper being whipped for punishment correct? How to answer that question? I could be very fairy about this answer, you guys. We will see. We will see about her guess and what was whether or not that was accurate. Was there some sort of moon goddess pull for Eric to buy a dance club since she knew Haley would love dancing? No. Sorry, there was more to that. I just needed a drink. No, Eric's a businessman. He's very business-minded, and clubs bring in money. So he wanted a place where the teenagers and, people can go, because he can have nights where, it's for teens and stuff like that. So it's just because he's business-minded. He owns a lot of businesses. He owns restaurants. He owns hotels. He owns dance clubs. He owns pretty much, if you think of something, he owns it. That explanation about Katie makes me feel better, since that was what I said on the Facebook question. Yeah. So it's, there's no witch that can just sense all magic. Obviously, if there's a magical object in play, other witches can sense that. So if they're used to the signature of the magic, they could pick up on that. Like in Raised to Cura, when Katie knew that Eric had been spelled by the cup. That's a type of magical signature that she recognized, because she knows him. She knows Eric, and she knows that the way he was acting was not normal. Now, with this, none of them are acting like super quick to anger like Eric was. There was nothing you could say that they're going to get like pissed off from 0 to 60. There are little things. There are little things that they're not really talking to people about. Oh, that went down the wrong pipe. I'm going to cough. Like Elise, she wasn't talking about the fact that she has headaches. Alexander admitted that he gets them too. EJ also gets them to a slight degree, but none of them were telling anybody that. Sam and Drake, Red Run, that group, they're not talking about it to other people. So I think you mentioned this earlier today, but with the theory that Cassie is helping the resistance, is that correct or incorrect? My thought was Cassie wouldn't go near... Stupid. Patreon, stop it. That Cassie wouldn't go near the ring and hide it from her family because it would hurt them. Here's the deal. Would Cassie go near the ring and not tell her family? Not for this long. Not for this long, absolutely. And Cassie's not going to go off books. So Cassie does missions for Aiden and Bjorn. So technically, if she was doing that, somebody in her family would know. And both of those men know that, not including Haley in that conversation, is a bad idea. Cassie herself would tell EJ or Alexander. One of them would know. Because, they have a special bond as triplets. All of the ones they're all siblings and they all have a special bond. But in the sets of them, they have a different special bond. Like Alexander EJ and Cassie. Cassie and EJ know what's going on with Alexander. They can just tell. They can tell he likes Melanie. The other siblings are still confused. They're like, what is his deal? They all agree with Dylan. They're like, he is the moody triplet. I don't know what's going on with him. I know that like something's going on with him, but they don't know what. Whereas Cassie and EJ know. TJ knows what's up with Angela all the time. He knows when she's upset. Like, EJ, he just let it go that she wanted to start planning her birthday, whereas TJ, you know, he was kind of digging deeper into that. He's like, what are you up to? What's going on? It's just a thing with the sets that they were born with. So would Cassie go near the ring? Yes, she would go near the ring. Would she do that where one of her uncles didn't know, or her dad or her brothers? No, she wouldn't. That's not safe. 1. 2, she is aware that they want her. So she would have to alter her appearance drastically to do that. Because they've wanted her since she was a child. Bjorn would never send her on a mission where she's going to be visible to them. Now, in the background, sure. But visible to them, no. And she definitely wouldn't be alone. So I don't know if that answers your question. Probably does in a roundabout way. Let me get back to the question. But it's not that she wouldn't do it. She absolutely would. It's but would they know? Yes, they would, because she's not dumb. Like, Cassie's not dumb. She's not going to infiltrate a group that has known what she has looked like since she was a child. That's asking to die or be taken and kidnapped, and she's not looking to do that. Eric is getting them too, right? Yes, Eric is getting headaches too. Would the spell, assuming it's a spell, have to be super dark magic due to the protection that Haley gave Eric's pack, or do they only work on them when they go to fight? So it would have to be super dark magic if it's magic. Well, not magic, if it's a spell. If it's a spell, it would have to be a super dark spell. Now, is that to say that we're all under the same type of thing? No. No, it's not. It could be different. It could be different for the different groups. Maybe some of them are on a spell. Maybe some of them are under another one. Maybe some of them are under a spell and something else. We shall see. We shall see. I think I'm caught up back in the questions again. Yep, I think I am. Okay. Do we have any more questions, or do you guys want me to stop talking? It's been a long time. It's been a long time. If you want me to stop talking at you, I can. I have more time. I do have to go mow later, but that's not till later. The answer about Cassie makes me feel better because that was my train of thought. I thought there was no way Bjorn would put her at rest sending her undercover. Undercover with the ring? Yeah, no, he wouldn't do that. He does have a lot of people he can send. Cassie, we'll learn more about Cassie. Causing mischief and endangering yourself are different. Those aren't the same thing. And none of the Connors are just gonna run off and do things against the ring without telling at least somebody. So, you know, I've seen the theory that Cassie is involved. It's not that she wouldn't be involved, and it's not that any of the Connors wouldn't be involved with the Resistance. It's the Resistance is resistant to the Connors being involved. You see what I did there? That was I need to come up with different words. But they're running into a block. They're running into a block with the Resistance wanting, you know, more of a relationship with them. The Connors want that. They want that. They know that they could help each other, and they could. They absolutely could, because the Resistance has information the Connors could do a lot of things with. But obviously there's a problem with that. So, yeah. But again, we'll see. Did they find Astrid's half-sister in the original reality? Yes. We mentioned that when we bring in Tabitha, they found out about Al and his ring, and that's where Astrid's half-sister was. So they did find her. I think Alania is somehow messing with Angela's sight. She still wants to be seen as the most powerful. This is making Angela look not as powerful. Parts of that are in the right direction. Angela is still the most powerful fairy with sight. That's not debatable. That's not how people see it. Like, it is written in a prophecy that they are the promised siblings, and that's who Angela is. No one debates whether her sight is more powerful. Is Alania somehow messing with Angela's sight? I mean, that's, a roundabout thing, because Alania is dead. Could Alania have told people how to mess with her sight prior to her death? Yes. She could have set some things up like that in motion. Did she? We'll find out. But yeah, we'll find out. Well, shoot, I thought Astrid's half-sister could be part of the ring resistance, but now that seems unlikely. She is, Hetty is her name, and she's met her family. She knows them. And Bjorn definitely knows her, because it's Astrid's sister. So I don't know if this is asked before, but what ribbon books will we get next? If by that you mean a ribbon strand, so I'll just back up. What's next is going to be Cassie's book, followed by Alexander's book, and then the question becomes, do we have Keaton Daniels' books? Or do we jump back into a ribbon strand? The next ribbon strand book that we will do, when is the question, but the next ribbon strand we will do is one where Phelan has not died. She made it back to Sir Arthur, and she fakes Haley's death when Haley is 5 years old, and takes her to Sir Arthur, and Sir Arthur is trying to get Haley to the Hakura because he asks her if she knows anything about her dad, because he's trying to track him down. And she tells him all she knows is that he'll come for her when she's 16. And Sir Arthur is with Robert at this point, and they're like, oh, shit. So he's trying to get word to the Hakura. So I'm not sure how much I've given away about that reality. But in that one, so that's where Sir Arthur ends up in Tennessee, and Haley, they obviously sleep at some point. So Haley is a fairy, and she's mischievous. So they're down for the day, and she's like, I'm bored, and I feel led to this area. So she might pop into a certain werewolf's territory, and a certain werewolf might be intrigued by that. And then a certain fairy might find it fun to pop away from certain people. Yeah. That one's fun. Did they whose point of view would that book be from? Which book? I listed several. Which book are we talking about? Which book point of view? Does Astrid's half-sister have a mate yet? She does. I'm just waiting to see what point of view Rebecca's talking about. Because obviously there are some of them I can't tell you whose point of view they will be on. I can tell you Cassie's book will be her and her mate. The book with Sir Arthur will be Haley and Eric's point of view eventually. For the first little bit, I haven't decided, honestly. I got a lot of hate in Haley's Raised to Cure chapter for a 5-year-old being as mature as she was. And I'll say it again, if I write it from her point of view as a 5-year-old, she's going to be a mature 5-year-old, because I'm not writing the way that a 5-year-old talks, you guys. She's a supernatural. She's different. That's really the end of that story. But with Sir Arthur, it would be the prologue would be kind of Phelan's point of view, and then we would switch to Haley and Eric. And that mate is, I'm not going to tell you. You got to read and find out. Interesting noises are being made here, you guys. I feel like I'm in a horror movie and someone's like going to bang the front door down. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't like horror movies, you guys. I'm like the easiest person in the world to scare. Like, you can walk around that corner and I can know that you're standing there and I can know that you're going to jump out and scare me. I'm still going to jump. Will you tell us what group her maid is in? Her maid is a Hakura. But yeah, I'm super easy to scare. Super easy to scare. Like, I'm pretty sure that movie Snakes on a Plane is not supposed to be scary, but for me it was like however long that movie is of pure torture because snakes just kept coming out. I hate snakes. I really do. They terrify me. And that whole movie just terrified me. And then when Samuel L. Jackson was like, I'm so sick of these mother effing snakes and this mother effing plane. I was like, really? It took you almost the entire movie to be sick of these snakes on this plane? Because I was sick of them the first time I saw one. That's me. Right there with you. My husband loves horror movies and I hate them. Oh, my husband loves them. He loves scary movies. I'm just the easiest. I like suspense. I don't like scary. I don't like the creepy clowns and Pennywise. You guys are going to laugh so hard here in a couple weeks because there's a Friday the 13th prank outtake. But like the Freddy Krueger movies, the Trick or Treat movie with the creepy little tiny kid that's not really a kid that kills people for, breaking the rules of Halloween. Jason Voorhees, the Friday the 13th movies. I don't know, jeez. No, my husband loves scary movies, and I don't. How many answers will we see by next Sunday? That's going to depend. That's going to depend whether or not the book ends this week, you guys. I'm thinking this book will be wrapped up here in the next couple of weeks. I'm just not sure which one. So obviously there will be more answers if we get to the epilogue of this book. Andrea loves horror movies. Rock on. I say enjoy what you enjoy. They're not for me. I think, I've watched some scary movies with my husband because I love him and I do things for him. He does things for me. We're in a relationship. Compromise happens. But yeah, I think before the last time before I was in a relationship with my husband that I watched a scary movie was when I was 14 and dating this guy who they're like, oh, he really wanted to see this movie. And I blame these people for this heavily. Okay, it's their fault. I'm still easy to scare, but I'm a pretty easygoing person about I'll do, I'm down to do what the group wants. But if the group wants to go see a horror movie, I'm adamantly opposed because when I was 14, I was dating this guy and we were, they wanted to watch scary movies. So we watched When a Stranger Calls. And then we watched, I think it's like Amityville Horror. It's whatever it is. It's like the house makes this guy go crazy. And it's just, he goes crazy. Whatever. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong about the title. But then the next night I was babysitting. Okay. I was babysitting. And this is back when, there were landlines in a house. And so you give certain people the landline of where you're babysitting at. Well, people started calling the house and they wouldn't say anything. They were just breathing. And so I told the guy at the time that I was dating, I was like, stop doing this. And they were adamant that it wasn't them. I'm so freaked out. My dad came over to this house and then it turned out they were the ones calling. It was them the whole time. I blame them for that. Thought I was going to die. Let's see. When I watch a scary movie, I won't sleep for a week. I have trouble sleeping when I watch scary movies. How many answers do we have next Sunday? Like I said, that depends. That depends on where the book goes, you guys. We'll see where we're at with where stuff goes. Scary movies isn't a problem for me. It's later when I go to sleep. And I'm also, I think of a lot of scenarios. So they're hard for me because I'm I know that my husband's outside doing things in the yard. These are things that I know, but there are scary noises coming from the door. And I was like, I feel like I'm going to die. Someone's going to burst through the door and try to kill me, even though I know that my husband's outside. That's where my head goes. I watch a lot of movies too, so I'm always like, ugh. But yeah, I'm super easy to scare. it's sad. It's very sad. But okay, back to the book. Does anybody have any more book questions, or do we want to wrap? This has been a very long life. I'm sure you guys are tired of me talking. Yeah, if you guys are tired of me talking, I can stop talking. I can talk all day. Let's be clear. I can talk all day. But yes, do we have any other book questions? Stop talking about scary movies. What's the best scary movie of all time?
I can't give you one off the top of my head.
He can't pick one. There's too many. See, I can pick a couple. I have like a list of favorite movies. I love Beauty and the Beast. I'm so glad that live action was good. Otherwise, I would have been very obnoxious about it. Yeah, I feel that there's a couple of those live actions they have messed up so badly, but they didn't mess up Beauty and the Beast, so I'm cool. Save you from mowing the lawn. I'm going to have to go mow the lawn here in a little bit, guys. I can just stay and chat until then. But if you guys are done asking questions, we can log off and be done with me chatting with you. Yeah, I love Beauty and the Beast. I love that live action. I love the movie Anastasia, the cartoon, the bat. Bartok, his name is Bartok. I love that bat. But I like the non-traditional princesses, obviously. I love Frozen because in that movie they're like, you can't marry a man you just met. It's like all other Disney movies are like, it's kind of the plot of the whole movie. I love Anastasia too. I love that movie so much. Yeah, I love that movie. Okay. Do we have any other book questions? If not, I will let you guys go. Oh, You're Nicer Than Me. I make my husband watch them without me. He watches a lot of them without me. I haven't watched one in a while. I love the cartoon version of Mulan. That's one of the live actions I feel like they messed up. And that's coming from a place of I haven't seen the live action of Mulan because I found out Mushu wasn't in it and I was enraged. So I do love. Have you seen Bartok the sequel? Yes, I have. Bartok from Anastasia is Dylan. Oh, they've got kind of that same thing, but there's someone in my life who I base Dylan off of. Yeah. Okay. Book questions. Are we ready to have me stop talking? Did I actually answer all the book questions, you guys? Haley needs to see Bartok the Magnificent. She would love it. She would. Same, I haven't watched Mulan because Mushu was awesome. Right? You can't have that movie. I don't want to see a phoenix. I don't care about a phoenix bird that doesn't talk. I want Mushu. He's like a main point of... Whatever. Have you wrote Cassie's prologue? I have not written her prologue. I try not to do prologues for books prior to one being completed. The ribbon ones are different to me because those are kind of like, I view those as outtakes because they don't really give away things from our original reality. I don't want to write a prologue for somebody and then get really excited about their book and then rush the story I'm telling. So that's just how I focus on that one. But no, I haven't written her prologue yet. Mulan is my sister's favorite. The live action is good, although I was resistant to it for the same reason. See, I'm just never going to watch it. I am a stubborn individual. And when you change the things I love about a movie, I'm not going to rewatch it. I'm sure it is great. She seems like a really fun character. I just don't think they should have called it Mulan. I think that character is already like some super secret ninja, according to the trailer, and that just was not what Mulan was. I just think they should have named it a different movie because they changed so many things about it. Like her love interest is apparently not the same because you can't have a commander in a relationship with somebody. Whatever. I didn't like the press they did for that. I didn't like things that they said about that. I think it's ridiculous. I think you can have a strong female character and a strong male character. Has Haley taken her kids to Disney? Yes, she did. When Mulan came out, I took my son at noon, like 3 times a week because it was so hot. Oh, that's funny. Okay. But do we have any other book questions? Amanda, did you have any other questions? Did I answer all the questions on your list? Because I'm going to feel like that's a personal compliment or accomplishment if I answered all the questions on your list. Which princess would Cassie be dressed up as? A Disney princess? Cassie, let's see. Cassie would probably opt for Ariel too because of her hair. And other reasons. We'll see. I will say there are things in the last couple of chapters that people didn't catch on that I thought they would for sure. I thought they were for sure. I've seen a couple people mention something, but not very many. I thought a lot of people on here would catch on to some stuff in the last couple chapters. Oh, I got through all of them. The note I have for live questions is getting so long. Woohoo! I got through them all. Cassie has feelings about water. No, it's about the outfit. That's why I couldn't watch Aladdin's live action because Robin Williams wasn't the genie. I also have not seen that one for the same reason. I have to rewatch the stream because my grandson was not cooperating and didn't want to nap. Oh, I know that feeling. And it's not my grandson, but when my kid doesn't want to nap. Also, this one's really long, guys. Okay. If we have answered all the questions, I'm going to let you go because I've been talking for a very long time. I was hoping a partial water fairy mate for Cassie. We'll see. We'll see where Cassie's story goes. Like I said, her title is going to give it away. But I love the title, and I'm not changing it, so I don't care. Yeah. That's how I feel about it, you guys. Alexander's title gives it away, too. Title's just giving things away. I mean, so does EJ's, but we knew EJ's, so. Okay. I'll give everybody a few more minutes. If no one has a question, I'll stop talking at you guys. But yeah, we'll have to see where we get with EJ and Elise's story this week. Like I said, I think that is going to wrap up here in either this week or next week. We'll see where that goes and how those plot points come onto the page. Because obviously, if I'm thinking I can get to a couple plot points in a chapter, and then it ends up 2 plot points are the only thing they've given. Obviously, that extends it. But yeah, we might be wrapping up their story. No one can say a lot hasn't happened. A lot has happened. But yeah, like I said, the next big book was supposed to be Alexander's. So yeah, EJ's and Cassie's are going to be a little bit shorter than the norm, but we'll see where their books end up. Like I said, part of me, the sarcastic side of me, wants to, make theirs longer because people are being obnoxious. So we'll see where that ends up because I'm like that. So it's either going to be this week or next week. So we will see where that goes. I do not see any more questions coming in, so I will stop talking at you. I love chatting on here with you guys. We'll be back next week. Don't know where we're going to be at next week. We shall see. Obviously, if you see cover art get posted, you guys are going to know where that's going. I will post it on here first. So, yeah. Have a great rest of your day. You too. You guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see where we get this week. We'll see if we're still chugging by the end of next week on this story or if we're done. If we're moving on. I'm not going to drag a story out. I'm not going to do that. Once the story is told, it's told. I'm not going to, drag it on just for the sake of dragging it on. So we will be moving on, moving places, or we will still be here because there will be more story to be told. So we will see. Everybody have a good rest of your Sunday. I'm going to start writing Elise's chapter later. Really, I'm just avoiding going to mow the lawn because I hate it. All right, I'm going to go mow the lawn. Everybody have a good rest of your day. Be back at it tomorrow. And one other thing I just want to say is the thing I'm considering doing is taking a break from Facebook. I'm not sure how that would work, but if things keep going the way that they're going, I don't really think it's going to be something that I am unable to take a break from. So I will still be on here. Not going to take a break from this. Love this. We'll see how things go. Maybe things calm down on Facebook and that's not necessary, but if it is, I will let you know. You guys will know first. And it wouldn't be permanent. It would just be maybe a couple days, maybe a week. But yeah, so we will chat. We will chat next Sunday for sure. We'll see if, I get on here and have a rant about something for the week. I really don't know. But